Hey, we're live. It's great that we're live once again for MyFriendsAreAwesome.com with me, Cameron Marceau, and Sridhar Yadavali.
Hello.
I'm going to click him. See, that there he is. He's wearing his bling fez today.
Yes.
So we're here with our good friend Megan Scott.
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Woohoo! Hi, Megan.
Hello.
Once again, a Knox connection, because all of our friends, our mutual friends, Shrees and I's, all come from the Knox thing. So there you have it. That's what we're doing right now. Later on, and this whole thing is all about the fact that we're all old geezers. We're all, you know, we were young at one point, and we had dreams and ambitions. But they're so toast. They're just withered and dried. But along the way, we learned things, and actually there are people in our friend set who have done things and are doing things that are just way cool. And by that I mean like anything different from what I'm doing, because you know, I'll admit I'm doing cool stuff too, but like I think everybody is, and I can't even remember who it was. I heard an interview with somebody not too long ago who was like, they asked him, you know, what the big difference is now from when he was young versus, you know, now that he's older, and he was like, the big difference is that all of my friends are doing shit, you know, like they're for real. They're like, you know, they're the heads of something. You know, they have responsibility, and they've risen through the ranks, and that's kind of what this is doing. Just talking about how, you know, we're all we've made our way through, and wherever we are, we've learned things, and that's awesome. That's really cool. You know, and we all have a story. That's really pretty much what it is. And for my story this weekend, I went on a wine walk in Antioch, Illinois. It's just like just south, like an inch away from Wisconsin. And we like walked and drank wine. And the funny thing is that I've been to wine tastings before, like in Chicago, where you go there and there are like these wines that you've never heard of before, and there's just this one was just like full of Moscato.
Really?
Yeah, it was like because it was wine, it was highfalutin, and you know, I guess that's what you get in Antioch. I don't know. I'm being a dick now, but like
no,
like there was one we went to, and it was Moscato that was bright blue. It was dyed bright blue, and we're just like, oh, so that's what this is going to be.
Romulan ale? Is that what that is?
What?
Romulan ale? That's what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah, it did look like that.
What was the name? Like, why was it blue? What was the catch?
The Smurf.
I think they were saying it was somehow like Hawaiian or like
Hawaii.
The blue Hawaii.
Yeah, it was
blue. That's what it was.
It was but it was Moscato, and they had strawberry and cherry and peach Moscato, and it was just like this layered flavor. It was like, I mean, I did taste some cool things, but and it was my anniversary weekend with my wife.
Oh, congratulations!
Yeah. Well, thank you, thank you very much. And so we got away from the kids. All the folks on Facebook know that I posted that. I was like, no responsibilities for a weekend. Fuck yeah. Okay, cool.
You know what? I might have missed that particular note, because here I'm thinking the whole time like Madeline and Olivia are designated drivers for you guys. You know what I'm saying? And you're walking. You're like, Dad, come on, Dad. Dad. No, don't drink the blue stuff. Come on. I thought I had that image that they're walking around Antioch going, no, they're just our parents. Don't mind them.
Yeah.
Because my kids would do that. My boys would do that. And oh my God, they're 8, and they will go, oh Jesus, he's drinking. They'll do it. They would. Anyway, my weekend was a lot less entertainment. Well, no, not less entertainment, just different entertainment. I had to go to a family function where there was a religious rite that was performed on a friend of mine.
Performed on a friend of yours?
Yes. It's strangely enough.
Did they strap him down?
It's the Hindus' version of a bar mitzvah, but he's in his mid-30s, and you get it done. There are two ways to get it. When I got it done, I was actually before my wedding, just before my wedding, because you usually do that before your wedding. He doesn't seem to have anyone that he's interested in right now, or nothing that's been betrothed yet. So it was kind of strange. I think they wanted to get it done to get out of the way. Well, my wife, being a little bit more up on the whole social, religious thing, wants to get it done for my children before their grandparents get too old. So my kids are 8, and it's about that time. It's that you would see the mitzvahs happening in the Jewish faith, and the Catholics doing whatever they do, that sort of thing. So we're gonna do that next year. But
is there like a test?
No.
Do they have to like sever a goat's head with one swipe of a sword?
It's at the time where the story goes is that the young Brahmin boy goes off to learn the Vedas, and so he gets sent off to a faraway ashram away from his family, and so he's sent off with the blessings of his father and mother and the townspeople, to the point where they give him a little bit of shekels to get on their merry way to get on the road, type of thing. So he's scoring some serious coin on the way up. As any good mitzvah, you would do the same thing. The other thing that's happening, though, is during that time, the father imparts wisdom upon the son from the key points of the Vedas. Don't, not a beggar, a bower, be this, little things like that in Sanskrit. And you're supposed to only whisper it to the boy's ear. So I had this vision of me doing this for my sons, and I have to do the thing twice because I've got twin boys doing it at the same time, so I have to do 2 different days, 2 different ceremonies. So in that time, I'm going to just tell them, like, dirty fart jokes. And the 9-year-old is the 9-year-old will do exactly what you two just did. They'll just start laughing at the dais while the priest is doing the serious mantras, and my wife is going to actually damn me to hell right in front of the priest. But my father-in-law, who is a pronounced atheist, and myself will be the only 2 old men on the dais just laughing our asses off. Along with children, of course, who are actually repeating the fart jokes back instead of the mantras that they're supposed to.
Lovely.
So we went through that. But the kids have not seen St. Louis or don't remember St. Louis because the last time they were like 1. So we went to the Arch. We went to the Botanical Gardens the next day. We had taken my mother-in-law around, and that was a fun time. It was a family bonding time, and driving there and driving back. So I'm a little burnt out, but now that I'm home and the lawn is mowed, I am ready for this.
Awesome.
That's what I'm saying. And I have aged Gouda and beer, so I'm good.
My husband just went to go open our anniversary bottle of wine without me.
No, he's gonna pour you some.
I hope.
Yeah, I'm gonna pour you some.
Okay. He was just out of shot of the camera.
You don't say that. You don't say that.
He's like
on the internet, recorded without him going. Oh Christ! Now I gotta give her a. It's all over the damn internet now. Now I gotta pour her a glass. It's all gonna be mine, for Christ's sake.
She's tied up. I'm going into the anniversary line.
I don't have a glass down here. I would join you with a glass of wine because I've got some back. But
you got your beer. That's good.
So what did you do this weekend?
Me? Well, it was the 169th Knox College commencement.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I spent my my entire weekend. It was kicked off with the board meeting on Thursday and Friday, and then
running around crazy and frantic and okay.
Right, and and then having to give a presentation to the alumni council on Friday, so that was big fun, and then we have fireworks. Knox started a new tradition 3 years ago with our new president that on the Friday night before commencement we have fireworks, and they kicked ass. They're awesome.
Fireworks at the bowl? probably.
They're actually right over by the tennis courts. They can't do it in the bowl because there's AstroTurf there now. So they actually do it over like on the south lawn, and they mark it off. But it's amazing.
Right.
So
right.
people, they have a big dessert reception for parents and graduates, and then everyone comes, and people bring blankets, and other students in Galesburg people come out, and the whole south lawn, people are just like on blankets and in lawn chairs, and they light up purple and gold fireworks. It's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, let me ask a procedural question. Does I don't recall this. I remember coming to, and I remember seeing you, by the way, at the graduation where Bill Clinton spoke.
Yes.
2004 or 2005, somewhere around there, as I remember.
7.
I brought my wife.
Okay.
And I didn't notice this, but were the alumni board members on stage with the guest speaker?
No, the Board of Trustees are.
The Board of Trustees is.
Yes.
Okay.
The Alumni Council gets to sit if they're around in the VIP section, but the trustees actually go on stage.
The trustees
and robed up and all that stuff.
So the big money people.
Right, there you go.
So the same people met Colbert. I wonder what they thought of him.
You know, Stephen Colbert was one of the best things that happened to Knox College, I have to say, in terms of raising our visibility.
Not the current president, not the former president of the United States, but Colbert was the big thing.
His commencement address just keeps giving. Every year, every single year it is mentioned. Whenever the whole, like, the top 10 commencement addresses come out, Knox is always on it.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty amazing. So
that's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was so Friday night was fireworks, and then yesterday morning was commencement, and it was my office, the communications office, running around like chickens with their heads cut off. We did a live stream of commencement. That went well this year, and we take photos and video and then work our tails off until it's all posted on the internet.
I always wondered why does the communications office hire a third party to go out and do all the video and the photographs?
No. We have, in the past, we've done some video, hired a firm out of the Quad Cities to come down, but as quickly as we want to turn the video around, it's actually just become easier for us, and over the last few years, we've bought better equipment. Right. So we actually have some nice video equipment on hand.
I was just thinking it would be a nice little confluence of effort if, say, you had the CFA folk,
right?
Like the folks doing the mixed media stuff and their advisors sort of spearheading the effort. Give them the equipment and have their youngins.
Are you going to start telling her how to do her job?
No, I'm just saying that. I'm just saying that. For example. Is
this where this is going?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that.
Okay. You know what?
All right.
I want to know something different.
Okay.
Megan, tell us your path.
My path?
Yeah.
That got me here?
You spent some time in Minneapolis, right?
I spent about a year in Minneapolis. That was actually some pretty not so nice times of my life that first year after college.
Minneapolis was not nice?
No, I was dirt poor.
That's what being 20 is.
Right, totally. But it was the worst winter of like 25 years in Minneapolis, and so it was just depressing, and my job was fine, but it wasn't great. But what saved me is
yeah, how did you end up just turning this around? Yeah, I mean, like.
So when I left Knox, I went to the University of Denver Publishing Institute, which I wanted to go into book publishing. So there was it's like a 6-week course. You go to Denver, you learn all about book publishing, yada yada. And so I got a job at Coffee House Press in Minneapolis, which is a very esteemed nonprofit press. And they had letterpress. I mean, some really fabulous work. But it wasn't the right match for me for many reasons. But I had an amazing boss. I was publicity. I worked in marketing. And when I went to go into publishing, I thought I wanted to do editorial side, and then quickly found out that I should do marketing. So I like to talk too much. Yeah, like I like to talk and be and like marketing is all about sort of being on the front end, right, where you're trying to get people excited about the books and all that stuff. So
yes, okay.
That's sort of how I came into this. So anyway, I had an amazing boss who took me aside and said, "You are very good at your job. This is not the right place for you. I think you need to go into academic book publishing." And that's where she came from. And she said, "I know a lot of people, and I want you to send out resumes, and I will give you a fabulous recommendation. So,
Wow.
which is amazing for a
They
good boss.
fire you, but in the nicest way possible.
Well, sort of, but she actually really did want to get me a job. Like, it was really, she wanted me to stay in publishing and knew if I stayed there, it was going to be, I probably wouldn't have. So I ended up, actually, Knox Connection, my honors outside examiner's daughter worked at the University of Missouri Press.
Okay.
And I just sent a random, like, completely cold resume. Here I am, I'm looking for it. And they called me back and recognized me because she had said nice things about me, and they had a job opened up.
Nice.
And so I was able to land this job.
Influence.
Right. In Missouri, thanks to my outside examiner from Knox. How crazy. So then I was in Missouri for 2.5 years, and Brian ended up moving to Columbia with me, and that's when we moved in together. And that was fun. And yeah, and then I just ended up, we'd always loved Iowa City, and a job at the University of Iowa Press opened and in marketing, and so I applied and we got that. So we were in Missouri for 2.5 years, and then we moved to Iowa City.
Whoa. So Minneapolis, Missouri, Iowa.
Right.
She's
Holy
just
crap.
all the ACM is what she's doing.
Exactly. I was doing the Midwest College Tour, essentially, as college town tour is what I was doing. So.
Was this a ladder or what?
Well, not really. I mean, really, the Iowa City thing was just Brian and I loved Iowa City, and we thought,
Cool.
Here's an opportunity to live there. So that's when I worked there, and I ended up becoming the marketing manager at the University of Iowa Press, which was pretty awesome, and was really involved in the academic publishing community, and like served on chair, like their national little association, and did a bunch of stuff, and it was awesome. It was a really great community, and I loved being in academic publishing because I was close to academia without having to have gone back to graduate school, right? You know, like I was still reading really cool things and really
yeah, I'm jealous. Okay.
Yeah, academic pursuits, but I didn't have to go to graduate school, and it didn't matter. Like, I didn't need any type of higher degree.
Okay, I got two things that are like when you started talking earlier about the boss that told you you ought to go into academic publishing. I just had this Devil Wear Prada moment at the end of this movie where the Meryl Streep character goes, you know what? You're horrible for this. You should be at. I'll send you your resume to my friend over at the Los Angeles Times or wherever she ends up going, and she ends up becoming a writer in Baghdad or something, or whatever the hell happened to her,
Right.
But it's sort of like, I know this person, go talk to this person, you will now get the job, but you're going to have to deal with me in this environment for now.
Right.
Right. And it's the whole Devil Wear Prada sort of image to me, but
although it was not nearly as nice of clothes.
We're not nearly a devilish boss, it seems. So
right.
That's always
right. No, Susan was not a devilish boss. So.
And the whole idea that you were going around getting all of this tacit education is almost like you did Khan Academy before it was cool. You know what I mean? You were learning more about other people's stuff just by being their publisher.
Right.
You would have actually taken their class.
Right. And I also found out, and this I found out I was really good at taking very abstract academic ideas. Like, a lot of, because academic book publishers, you do a lot of dissertations and some pretty, esoteric stuff.
Yeah.
And I was really good at taking these, like, crazy abstract academic ideas and being able to write, like, copy that goes on the book jacket that a bookseller could then use to help sell the book. Like, taking these ideas and being able to sort of filter it in a way that in English you can, everyday English you can talk about it. So I didn't realize I had that talent until I went into academic publishing, and it was fun. It was like a big challenge for me, trying to like read these manuscripts and do all the notes and try and figure, how the hell am I going to like say in 2 minutes what this book is about? Because literally, because one parts of my job is I used to do publicity tours in New York City, and I got to go. Actually, that's a great Devil Wear Prada connection because it was filmed in the Condé Nast building, which I spent ages because I had to go there to meet with the New Yorker and various magazines to like schlep books to try and get publicity. So I knew like the cafeteria I ate in, it was very weird. So yeah. So anyway, I got to go like do all that in New York, and you learn like the editor of the New York Times Book Review would literally take your catalog of books and he would flip like this. So you would have like 10 seconds to like capture his attention on a book.
God.
So you had to get really good at like.
Did you have like you know, if it was a treatise on animal husbandry, do you have what, cows doing it? You know, on the pictures. Wow, that's what I need for my list.
That cover grabs you. You know.
I would take
my attention.
Like if there was. We had a bird book, like a really funky bird book that I took like little bird collars. And people remembered me. Like I would call them up and they're like, "Oh, you're the lady with like the little bird collar." So I would get in. So you know, like you would do whatever. So that was fun. I really loved that. And when we were in Iowa City, Brian went and decided to go back and get his teaching certificate at Iowa. And then. And then we were there for 5.5 years, and then Brian got a job over here teaching Latin at Monmouth High School.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's what brought us back to here.
Gaudiamus Egi Tour, baby. I love it.
What was that?
Gaudiamus Egi Tour.
Yeah. Right. So anyway, I commute
Latin when I can. You know, I got an education.
You're talking to the wrong guest, Tree.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
We'll bring that up when we talk to Brian.
We'll talk to Brian. I'll just do just all my Latin, which is all of like 3 poems.
Right. I'm not going to know any of it. It's going to go over me. You would think I would have learned by now, but it's not there. So anyway, when he got the job over here, it was my turn to move. So I commuted between Iowa City and Galesburg for almost 2 years, and then which was tough. And then David Amor from Knox called me one night and just said, "Would you ever be interested in working back at Knox?" And I was like, "Well, what's up?" And the editor of the magazine, that position had come open, and so I applied, and here I am, almost. So
10. You're the editor of the alumni magazine.
Yes. That's what I was hired to do advancement communications, so fundraising and alumni relations.
Now I know when I make that long diatribe to Rebecca Gillen, and she posts the whole thing, I know who's cutting it down to a reasonable size. You cut out my best jokes.
You know, actually,
I work on that material.
You don't cut much. If it's too long, we always send it back to the class correspondent because I don't want to make.
Okay, so now it's a catfight between you and Rebecca Gillen.
Right.
That's right. As long as we know what's what, I'm good. I'll still write a whole paragraph thing going. I'll take up space.
You should. We do a word limit.
It's mostly trying to get others to write better.
Right.
Because they're all English majors. I was just a science geek. Right.
So anyway, that's my path. That's what got me to where I am now.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I never thought I would be where I am now, but I'm actually happy I'm here.
You moved back to Galesburg.
Right.
Bought a house for a nickel.
Right. Yes. All of our friends in Iowa City were like, "Oh my God, that's amazing!" And I kept thinking, it's location, you know, for what we paid for our house in Galesburg.
Let me step back even further for a minute. Let me ask you this. Now, a perspective question. Now, you're 4 years at Knox. You bump into strange people like Cameron and myself.
Mm-hmm.
And you meet a handsome fellow. You know, all that happens while you were in what we all can agree is a very egocentric place that we're all in our late teens and early 20s and all that.
Right.
You are now an administrator at the same spot, dealing with many of those personalities who you knew as those egocentric.
Mm-hmm.
How has your perspective changed from being the Siwashy, Prairie Fiery student and the administrator?
That's a great question. You know, this year is probably the first year where I felt that most profoundly. It's always been odd because you sort of get to see how the sausage is made, you know? And luckily, I think I have actually come to appreciate my Knox education more now. knowing a little bit more about how the sausage is made, just because I understand more what faculty and administrators do and how all the work and all the planning and thought that goes into how you educate, students today. But this year, I mean, with all the student activism on campus, it was really tough because I could see myself in those students so much. Like, remembering how I would have felt like as an 18, 19-year-old is exactly as they feel. Like, I can see all of it.
Yeah.
But now I'm also, A, on the other side because it's my job, and B, just because of my age.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit that just wants to be like, oh, you guys are going to walk out into the real world and you're going to be shattered. Like, there's so much idealism in what they have. God bless them. But you just want to say, like, just take a step back, and like, so it's tough. But I do think at the end of the day, the students are the moral compass of the college. And whether and I'm stealing that line, someone actually used that the other day. I can't remember which, I think a professor, but there's the issues they bring up, however idealistically or whatever, I think are things that we have to listen to as an administration. And maybe the way the administration handles it isn't the way the students would want us to, but I think their voices are really heard. Does that make sense? Like, I think it's hard.
You're saying that regardless of what admin thinks, the real movement of the college happens from the students? Or the real position of the college, if you will, politically or socially or what have you, is really a student-driven one?
I think maybe not in every single case, but I think at Knox there have been a lot of things. Like the sustainability initiative that's been going on, that's completely student-driven.
Yeah.
Alumni Hall, when that building was originally built, and this idea of having a space for students to have extracurricular activities, like it was originally built as these lecture hall or these debate halls, right? That was all student-driven. That wasn't an administrative thing. That was students wanting that space, and they got that space. The protests in the 60s and the 70s, whether it was introducing ABLE and sort of black rights at the college, all those things, a lot of that was driven with students.
And
so I think there are...
Brand in, the surplus of Cracklin' Oat Bran.
Exactly.
From Jeff Salyards.
Right.
He did that.
Salyards. If you see him next Saturday, I'm going to tell him that.
I forgot about that. Oh my God.
Did you hear that story? Did you? What?
Which story?
What?
I know the story.
That Jeff like stuffed the ballot box for the cereal. And so that like he insisted on there being Cracklin' Oat Bran because there was a big poll. It was during our period when we were there, and it was student run. Students made the decision.
Right.
And he got everybody to stuff it with Cracklin' Oat Bran, and like he was the only one who liked it.
Right. Oh my God.
So there's like pallets of Cracklin' Oat Bran.
And now
is that still true? You should go check it out. See if there's.
I should. I haven't been in the cafeteria for such a long time. I tend to go to the Gizmo more, so I should go check out. At least not at breakfast. I maybe eat lunch.
I say this with all seriousness. That prank by Salyards has seriously impacted all the students for the last 20 years.
I have to take that back. Something with that, I think.
It was a
magazine story.
Up with the softball, Cameron.
What?
You set me up with the softball, reminding me of the Salyards thing. Or hardball in this case. I don't know.
So I would be misspoken, I think, to say every big change at Knox has happened because of students, but there are a lot of trends, that I do think that the students bring forward very issues at hand. I mean, right now there's a lot of talk about diversity at Knox, and not that Knox isn't a diverse place, but now that we have a diverse student body, is the college really prepared to serve the needs of that student body? I mean, those are some really tough, great questions that these students are bringing forward, and I think it's making, members of the administration, from student life to academics, like look at what the education is and how we provide that. So
isn't that almost like the natural state of a student, though, is to be be unrestive,
I hope so.
I need to find something to bellyache about because
not
I have nothing else going. I mean, not to diminish it, but at the same time, people thrive on conflict. So if you're not conflicted, and quite frankly, the Knox environment lacks like any serious conflict at all. It was great when I was there, and and what?
Back when we were there, I'm not sure if that's true. For example, I'm not sure. I think we are. You and I, Cameron, are people of a certain history at Knox. Megan has the insight of being there right now, and so sees the evolution of that angst that you and I might have had for the next year or
But can you think of any conflict that happened when we were there that wasn't created by us? I mean, even like
Gulf War, but
what?
The first Gulf War.
Okay, yeah, but I mean that's so.
You got a lot of diverse people coming together, going, "Oh Christ, now." Mind you, we didn't know any better at the time.
But it's so separate from us, and it's kind of like, what are you going to do about it? I mean, it's like staging a protest in the park. That's not. I mean, that's not going to do anything. But I'm talking about like things that happened like more immediately, like say the women pledging teak that year.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, but that was the student body creating this conflict. Granted, it was real. It was very real, and it was a definite issue, and we all felt it.
On reflection, I kind of wonder. I kind of wonder if we had made a mistake as actors there. I'll tell you why. One of the main reasons why we did not is that we would lose the charter, we would lose the house, we would lose the rights. We didn't know if they were recolonized or not. It could have been given up as the Jazz House or something. We had no idea. At the time, we were limited to our egotistical perspective as teaks and as youngins. On reflection, I'm kind of wondering if we should have taken the stand and charter be damned, because years later, I think it was a good 5 or 6 years later, the charter was revoked anyway for much more insidious malfeasance than us taking a stand on women, which we all agreed was an important stand, but we just couldn't sacrifice.
We didn't want to lose.
We didn't want to sacrifice the power we had as being a charter of teak and making a voice that way.
Right.
We were afraid that the whole experiment would die.
Right. The whole house of cards would die out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. I mean, what I think is fascinating right now too is sort of the OCR investigation and all that being announced. That's not something unique to Knox, obviously. There are 61 schools being investigated. I think that's just the tip of the iceberg, honestly. Right. I would not be surprised if more happens. There's a definite culture about sexual misconduct on college campuses that's trying to be addressed right across the nation. And so, like, the 1 week, the Chronicle of Higher Education has a whole special issue on Title IX and the OCR investigations. And then the next week, which is when we had student walkout surrounding more diversity issues, the special issue of the Chronicle was about diversity in higher education. So whatever's happening, the student activism at Knox right now, I think, is something that's pervasive across the whole nation in a way that when we were there, in your years before me and after, it was a relatively quiet time, I think. There was a Gulf War and things like that, but there weren't some of these other larger issues.
Also access to information now is far greater than what it was then. I mean, the worst, I remember when I was a freshman.
Do you mean information in quotes?
I mean access to. Let's even limit ourselves in terms of information to quote unquote mainstream media, to the newspaper websites, to AP, to UPI, to those issues for now.
When as long as media is entertainment, I'm questioning it all. It's it's making me skeptical about the whole endeavor. It's kind of like we've been sold down the river.
Yeah, but I'm saying that these kids have access to all of it.
Yep.
Yeah, but
more up on it than you and I were.
But
Yes.
you know, all of the illusion. You know, what does that get you? You know, it's still a show. You know, it's still a magic act, and that's the problem. And maybe I'm just too skeptical, but I don't know. I feel like
we're not disagreeing.
when you're looking at the money and when you're looking at it being an entertainment source, you know, when news becomes entertainment.
I'm all right, fine. All I'm saying is that these children have access to API and UP more instantaneously than we did.
Oh, they've got push notifications on their phones.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And they're getting up-to-date information about events, let alone interpretation of the events.
Yeah, so they can get angry faster.
They can get angry faster, but they can also mobilize faster than we do.
They can see what's going on at a college across the nation, right?
They don't need
what those students are doing, and
they don't need a fraternity house. All they got to do is go over to Alumni Hall. All they got to do is go to a senior reunion. Everyone texts each other and goes, "Hey, we're starting a rally right now. This sucks."
Right.
See that Honey Bunches of Oats sucks, and we're going to just that. Damn you, Salliards, and that's the hashtag, and be done. But they could do it faster than we ever could. We need it.
Yeah.
Now, okay. Now we have done the exact thing that we said we wouldn't do, right, Megan?
Yes, but I actually appreciate that question that started it because it's a question I've been grappling with a lot lately. So it's because this is not the Knox show. I know that we're doing so much Knox stuff, but like your being at Knox shouldn't mean that your whole story is about Knox. You know, that's the thing. I mean, and I know that I mean. You definitely, when we first approached you, you were like, what's this about? Because and that was just timing wise. That was just
totally because she started that thread on Facebook, and then we approached you, and it's kind of like it's like
it was an awesome thread.
What's the matter with you people? Why am I in trouble for everything?
Because you're a troublemaker, man. You've always been a troublemaker.
Just because I just got a hashtag, ask her about this from nothing. From Salliards. You'll see him on Saturday.
Okay, so actually, looking at the time.
Yeah.
Got plenty of time.
Well, but like what? 15 minutes.
20 minutes.
Wait, I can go 20 minutes. I can go 20 minutes. So
you got. I mean, sometimes those questions, the D20 questions, can be extended.
You want me to do the D20? Maybe we could incorporate other questions about the kids and everything.
Oh,
yeah. I'm sure that they'll.
Awesome family, great husband.
Yada yada.
Cute little kids. They're smart. They're awesome. I love them. Yeah. I could say much about them.
You have two daughters now, right?
I do. I have two daughters. I have Clara Jane, who is 7, and Willa Fern, who is 20 months.
Nice. Congratulations.
Yeah. So are you terrified of the teen years too?
Oh my God, I am terrified of the teen years. So Brian and I had a joke, and I'm just going to put this out here. I know it's for everyone, but we used to joke when Clara was born that if she got his legs and my boobs, we would be in big trouble, right? Like we would just need to like shut the door and lock it up.
That's right. Buy the gun.
Clara has Brian's legs already, and she is 7, and I see the teenager, and it terrifies me. But what I love about her is, I mean, she was like this her whole life. Like, she was a typical little girl into princesses, but then she also loved Thomas the Tank Engine. So she would wear tutus around the house, but we had to buy Thomas the Tank Engine underwear, and it only came in boys' underwear, because why would you make, girls' underwear for Thomas the Tank Engine? So she would wear like little boys' Thomas underwear underneath her tutu. So she's always been this great mix, right, of sort of girly but doing her own thing. Right. So right now she's really into Lord of the Rings. And
score!
Right. She will not cut her hair because she wants to be Legolas for Halloween. And so I love this about her because, I mean, she's a beautiful and intelligent and caring and wonderful young girl, and she's got this streak of the nerdiness of her parents in her, and I love that, and I'm hoping that will protect her
And by the way, just to assuage anything.
That's a strange thing to actually say, Megan.
No.
Nerdiness will protect her. You know that's a new era type thing. That nerdiness would protect it. We were persecuted.
No,
weren't we? Right? Like we like that kind of stuff.
But protect her, not necessarily. She may be persecuted, but I'm hoping may protect her from.
She's not going to be persecuted because our generation has shown that the nerds rule the world.
That's true.
He's going to be worshipped like a goddess.
So that's Clara, and then Willa, who is just developing her own personality, is very stubborn and very awesome, and she refuses to say mommy very frequently, even though she can say mommy, but we'll be like, say mommy, and she's like, dada, or sissy, and you know she can say it, so there's this fun little, she's very stubborn and awesome, so yeah, they keep us on our toes.
We keep you on your toes. We got to roll the dice. Here's how it works.
Okay.
I have 20 questions on a sheet of paper that Cameron and I have agreed on. But the way and we could deviate from that anytime we want to, by the way. At the six-sided die for time, there's anywhere from 1 to 6 questions I can ask you.
Okay. And
so first this tells you how many I'm going to ask. And then I get to roll this dice to see which question I will ask. And I will keep track of how many I do. I'm the Carl Castle of this organization. Here's how I'm going to play it out. So I'm going to roll the six-sided number cube. And I've got 4.
Okay.
4.
You're on the hook for 4 questions, Megan.
You're on the hook for 4 questions.
Okay.
So, question number 1, I'm going to roll from this dice. I'm going to let you know what that is. Here we go. Big money, big money, big money. Number 6. What neurosis do you have to admit and why?
Oh.
What neurosis do you have that you'd care to admit, and how does it manifest itself? Give me some details about the neurosis. Oh my, I'm reading.
God. I don't know if it's a neurosis, but I have the 90-10 issue seriously in my life. Maybe it's not a neurosis. The 90-10 meaning like you'll go into a situation and 90% of what is said or whatever, whether it be at work or personal life, is positive, and then 10% is negative.
Uh-huh.
And I will obsess over the negative. Like the positive, I never hear. It's only the negative. So
welcome to the club. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. And it's terrible. Like, and I recognize that, but.
And you stay up all night. You're like, really? Did she say that? Is it? I can't believe she said that. You know, it's like, what does that mean? What is?
Right. Right. And then I'm a little teeny bit OCD, and then it just because then I obsess about it, right? And then you're constantly so it's the 90-10 rule, and that I have to like stop my I actually went to therapy for a whole other long story. And she would tell me it's my fuzzy thinking, and
I feel like that's completely normal. I mean, because like if you look at history, like all through like thousands of years, they focus on all the crappy stuff. It's like there's like wars. You look at ancient history, it seems like there's endless people fighting and killing each other for like. But then if you actually look at the dates, you see that each of these conflicts are split by like several hundred years. And you're kind of like, well, wait a minute. Mm-hmm. What did everybody do in between there? Oh, well, they were happy. They were having a good time. But so, like history just says, and the way we focus, and, look at our news, it's like everything sucks, everything's terrible. And you focus on it, you dwell,
That's the weirdest thing that you say that, because I was listening to NPR just today. I was listening to Chicago Public Radio, and a bunch of losers, all of them. And they had the History Corner around 6 o'clock in the evening. 3 historians from Virginia, and they interviewed a lady from Boston University or something, who's a historian, who basically openly said, she's a legal historian, and she openly said that since 1941, wars haven't really stopped legally. We're in a perpetual state of war since the World War II, and because at some point somebody has been away at sea and having combat pay and combat-based awards since the beginning of 1941,
World War II.
Our conflict in World War II. Mm-hmm. That's been going on since that whole time. So the idea that we've had any lull between wars in the modern era is a misnomer. She would call it a lie because she's a legal historian. Nobody does it. So I'm wondering if we're in a new phase of history or we're in 100 years war.
No, I'm sure there were plenty of Romans who were getting combat pay, even though they weren't fighting for many years, and I'm sure it just carries over. You know.
Sure.
I don't know. I think that's splitting hairs in a way. You know.
I'm just saying.
I don't know.
It's something to consider.
I think that we've had our golden ages without the steady combat. Though if you look at it, only 1 century is not a century is not that long considering.
It's 100 years. Right?
I know it's not
but
that
in the
long.
grand scheme of history, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Though maybe we're just doing the combat thing or the constant conflict more often because everything is sped up now. So
right.
But it has nothing to do with her neuroses, or yours for that matter.
Well, in the sense that there's the badness.
We focus on the negative in history. We'll highlight the negative instead of.
Yeah, you're bringing me down, man.
It's a natural tendency. I bet Neil does it too.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure he does.
Okay.
Roll your number cube.
Let's see. I rolled a 6 again, so I got to do another one. Number 3. Number 3 says, what is the oldest object you currently own, possess, or are responsible for?
Oh, that's beautiful.
And a little bit of history behind that object.
Oh my gosh. The oldest object I own.
Or are responsible for.
Or possess.
Holy moly. I don't know. Gosh, that's tough.
I know. We're
Right.
no joke around here. We are crazy shit.
What is the oldest object I
How about
currently
your house?
own or have responsibility for? Brian. Actually, in a weird way, maybe our house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would that be an object?
Do you know
totally.
Do you know anything more about the house other than you live in it? In other words, and you know the address. I'm saying
well, it was built in 1908. I know that we are the fourth owners of the house.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Here's the funny story about the house. A woman that I now work with, we were hired at Knox in separate departments same week. She owned this house. Like, we bought it from the people who bought it from her. So this house is sort of like, and now she's one of my closest associates at Knox. So we're sort of connected through this house.
Does she come by and visit over wine and she goes, oh, I had that picture over there?
She doesn't, but she has come by a couple times, and
Oh my God, what did you do with this wall? This was supposed to be ochre. What's this?
Well, we removed all the wallpaper they put up, so that was our big thing. But I think that's one of the oldest objects that we have responsibility for is this house.
Okay. I'm going to ask this question now because we ask it of everybody because we've talked to everybody across the country. Where are you in your house?
Ah, good.
Right now?
Yeah.
I'm in my dining room.
Separate from our little thing.
Dining room. Is that normally where the computer is?
Well, it's a laptop, so our computer's usually everywhere. Like, it's literally, we usually can't find it at the end of the day, in all honesty. So it's probably in the living room most of the time, but it travels all over the place. So the dining room is just, I love my dining room table, and it's comfy to sit at.
We've talked to so many people on the West Coast, and they don't have basements
Really?
or attics. Yeah, and so it's an interesting question. It's like, where do you compute?
Right. Actually, though, the basement is technically the home of the computer. That's where our desk and office is, but we don't rarely keep it there.
That's the thing. I'm in my basement now at my actual mainframe, desktop computure.
Right.
She has a mainframe.
A mainframe.
Actually, I do.
Valley mainframe.
Remember, originally when we did this, Cameron, I was in the street cave. I was in my undeveloped part, and there's actually I have a street cave with a street car and a street computer and a street sidekick. I have the whole thing, and a street cape. The file server with all the pictures and everything in the backup system is over there with a hot swap, so I can.
And I started with the heater and air conditioning unit.
Yeah, he had his HVAC behind him. He had his.
Oh my gosh!
But now I'm in the attic.
Right.
You know,
he's got his role-playing games in the background.
Yeah.
I expect to see a broadsword being hung from somewhere.
Right. You know, actually, I just thought of another old object.
Oh yeah.
Which is, well, and I don't know, maybe it's my wedding ring or my engagement ring. It was my
now we're
great-grandmother's.
talking.
Can you see? I don't know if we can see it. Right there.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Grandmother's. So.
Wait a minute, and tell a story about that.
Well, we don't really know much about it, but it's my grandmother had Alzheimer's.
Okay.
And her parents immigrated from Scotland.
Okay.
And after she passed away, my mom and her sisters were cleaning out, house and whatever, and just happened upon her jewelry box and found this ring, which was sort of it was really dirty and not in great condition. Right. And my mom just sort of threw it in a bag, and she brought it home one night, and I was going through it. I'm like, Mom, that's an expensive ring. She was like, what? And I'm like, I don't think that's not costume jewelry. That I think is a real ring.
Yeah.
So she went and took it to a local jeweler here in Galesburg and was like, oh, yeah, that's, 18-karat white gold and a diamond you got there. So anyway, my parents held on to it forever, and I guess at one point, I had no idea, when Brian decided he wanted to propose, he did the very, wonderful thing or traditional whatever, and talked to my dad and asked whatever, and my dad said, oh, we've got this ring that Megan saved, so it's yours. So there we go.
Your mother had something to do with that conversation too, because
probably.
Like, hey, the old lady's got something in the drawer here. You can use this instead. You guys are poor as hell. Come here, just take that. I like you, but you're gonna need to save a whole lot of money for this wedding. So take this.
So I actually spent more on Brian's wedding band than he did on any of my.
By the way, I hope your dad is not like an old Italian man.
No.
Okay, because he's talking like this and that. I don't know. Just saying.
So that's another old thing that I have in my possession. So there we go.
Okay, that's a great story.
That's a fantastic. That's a better story than the other story. No offense.
It is.
Okay, number 17. This is your penultimate question. What is your secret geeky pleasure and why?
My secret what pleasure?
Geeky pleasure.
Geeky
pleasure?
Or nerdy pleasure, I guess. What is your secret geeky pleasure and why? And don't mince words.
Okay. Probably the one that I would be most embarrassed to share, but I'll share it.
Please cosplay.
So one of my favorite pastimes when I get really stressed and just need to totally geek out and go into a different world is I read Hunger Games fan fiction.
Oh my gosh.
Fan fiction.
Yes.
Here I thought it was Potter fan fiction, but you went Hunger Games.
Hunger Games. I really like the Hunger Games. And what's awesome is that, and I don't know if you've read the trilogy.
Of course.
But, there's like an end, like between the epilogue, like the end of the book and the epilogue, and a lot sort of happens. So there's there's a lot of fan fiction about this, and I like PETA.
What, there's like a 10 or 15 years between the two.
Right, and it goes from like Katniss and PETA being completely destroyed by the Capitol to the end is them getting married and having kids, right?
Oh,
so
you just gave it away. You just gave it away for 4 people.
Sorry, I ruined it. Spoilers ahead. So anyway, there's a lot of fan fiction for that area. So that's what I love to do. Like that is my total geeky when I need to just go enter a different world. It's Hunger Games fan fiction. I love it.
Okay, that's good.
Cameron, you want to jump in with your little? Well, no, you don't have to. We just see it behind. So it's
what me?
Yeah, you're a geeky little pleasure. I've always wondered.
Oh,
I know
you know what? I had a campaign, a D&D campaign about 10 years ago, and then it stopped because everybody had kids. So it's like all of a sudden, life happens, and at this point, I'm just a collector. I go to an auction twice a year. I call it my holy day. Like I have 2 holy days every year, and I just cut everything out and go to this auction and sit and bid on things that I don't have. So I try to get one of everything. And I read them, I enjoy them, but I don't expect to play again until I'm in the old folks' home when there's nothing else to do, you know.
Right.
I'm playing now, and I'm having a great time. But
you're not playing. You're not playing. You play You play like twice a month.
I'm playing once a month.
You have no commitment. You have no commitment. You need to every day. It's a story. It's like life. You got to do it. You know, like people do World of Warcraft every day. It's a lifestyle. You have to, you know.
World of Warcraft freaks me out. I just have to say that.
You know what? I can't. I don't do that because it's like there isn't really a human referee, and that's the problem. You need a storyteller to be able to like manage it and actually tell a story that's interesting. A computer can't do that. But there's some fascinating things happening on World of Warcraft.
I'm sure.
Like there was a plague that happened. It was a computer glitch, and it actually spread from character to character, just like the bubonic plague in Europe. And all the characters, all the players started to behave like people did back in that period of time.
Wow.
People running off, starting enclaves in remote parts of this world because you could pass it from one character to another.
Oh my gosh! They created vinegar moats that they would surround themselves with, right? So no one.
They did things that and it was fascinating.
That's right.
It was like
everyone has to die into McAfee virus scan, or they enclave and a rite of passage. What is your license number? I need to know, or you can't come in. That's what
okay, so Shri, you got one more.
Okay, I got
one more. Let's hope it's the pizza one.
Ready to go? 11. No, I'm not gonna read that one. No, we have to get rid of that one. Cake or steak? Are you serious? No. No. What would be your ideal vacation? And since Brian is next door to you, you could just relate this to. You don't have to talk to camera. Just talk to him about it.
My ideal vacation.
He's right there, and he's drunk, so go ahead.
Yeah, I know, go ahead. I think my ideal vacation has changed from before I had kids to now that I have kids.
as all of ours have.
Yeah. So before I would love to say, like, I would love to go to the Boundary Waters and, like, have a cabin and hike and do all that great stuff. Yeah. Now I think I'm all about, like, I want all-inclusive. Like, I'm not a beach person, though. Like, I don't want to do a resorty thing. Cruises flip me out.
Uh-huh.
But, like, I would love to go somewhere like Scotland or Iceland or somewhere and, like, have an all-inclusive type vacation where just people bring me drinks and I get to enjoy
it. In McHenry County, Illinois, if you're really interested.
Wait, what was that?
There's Malort tasting in McHenry County if you're really interested. And there's some blue ones there, too. It's just...
Right. So I think that would be my ideal vacation. I really just want someone to take care of me and make all decisions for me right now. I don't want to make any more decisions.
Okay. Well, he's right over there.
I'm tracking with you on that. Yeah.
Oh, no, I am so totally.
Though you know, I feel like I would like a vacation where like half of it was busting my ass, like backpacking somewhere.
Right.
And then at the end, you get to this palace of steak and booze.
Oh, yes. That's awesome. Actually, when we went
massages, you know,
we did the Boundary Waters for our honeymoon, really thinking of this. In the first half of our honeymoon, we did the whole portage, right? So we were 3 days out, hiking, canoeing, the whole bit.
Busting your ass, yeah.
We were going to do the last 3 days. We rented a cabin, and so we had all these people, and it was like that because you bust your ass. And when we got back, like we were waiting for the van to come pick us up, and some people were there also waiting, and they had beer.
Uh-huh.
And that was the best beer
yeah.
we had in our life. Like and it was like Keystone Light. I mean, it was terrible beer, but it was like
When you suffer for it, it means so much more.
It's true.
It's absolutely true.
Those sound wonderful. I have a totally different perspective on that.
Okay.
Mine is very much the I need, if I were to have a vacation, it would definitely be my wife and I disappearing, not necessarily to like someplace exotic, although she does like warm weather, you know, and definitely in places where I don't know or she doesn't know anyone. That's definite. I don't want family members there. I just want her and I, and even if we're just reading our favorite books, even if we're just, you know, on a beach just doing absolutely nothing, or even if we're on a shopping spree where nobody knows us and we have, it's just her and me with nobody calling us. Nobody calling for advice. Nobody calling us to break up a fight. Nobody calling us for oh my God, your son just hit his head. You know, just again. You know, just, none of that. Just it's her and me, and we finally realize that when those people start calling and we're debating and our tensions go high, we really very much are gnashing at each other's teeth. But underneath it all, we know that we could take it, and we want to be in that place where we don't have to gnash our teeth at anybody else.
Right.
And we're going, oh wow, this is what retirement's supposed to be.
I was just going to say that. Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
And we were experiencing it 20 years earlier just to get a taste. Oh, that's what we're looking forward to. Let's put our money into that. You know.
Okay. So, awesome. This is a great talk.
Yeah.
I had a great time.
I've had so much fun.
It was fun.
Mind you, this is what we do with every one of them.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's just it's a reconnecting and talking face to face. You know, like on Facebook, you see what people are doing, but sometimes you don't get the full story, and you know, it's just kind of like, you know, let's, you know, coalesce everything and get the encapsulated version of, you know, how have you been? You know, that kind of thing. And it's been a lot of fun. It's been really great.
I know. It's a great idea that you've done this. I love it. I'm going to have to go back and watch more now that I've experienced it and see what other people have to say.
It's a good time.
Yeah.
So
I totally love reconnecting.
So how many, do you talk to like people every week or once a month, or how are you doing it?
We generally try every other week.
Okay.
Depending on availability and, you know, on you know, people's schedules.
This is the first time we doubled up. I think Aaron was last week, right?
Aaron Cohn, or did
you talk to Aaron Cohn? Oh.
Yeah, we just posted his.
I'll go back and watch. I have been in Knox World. I have done nothing outside of that.
We've all been in worlds of various kinds. You know what? And that's the funny thing, is that we've been doing this since like the new year, basically. Probably around January or February. We started with Mark Piani, and it's interesting to see how, because we've been posting them. And did you know that we were doing this? No. And people don't recognize it. But like, I posted Aaron Cohn's, I think, it was I don't know, Friday or Saturday.
Friday or Saturday. I think it was Friday, because I got to it Saturday, and I did my spiel on it, and
all the people who we've touched base with, all the people who we've talked with, liked it. You know, it's kind of like when you do it, it's on your radar and you see it and you're like, oh, they did another one.
And they start promoting it amongst themselves.
Right.
You know.
Right, and it's funny because I'm friends with a lot of the people on Facebook and stuff that you've done, and it's so funny how I've missed some of them.
Yeah, it totally goes by, because it's just a stream, and until you know what's happening, it doesn't mean anything. And
the beauty of what Cameron did with this is that if you decide that you're going to talk to one of your friends, or two of your friends, that now you could bloom into your own group, post it on the same site, because it's effectively a generic site for anyone to post their My Friends Are Awesome video.
Right.
So the whole idea is to also not only promote it amongst the Knox crowd, and for obvious reasons, you know, because Cameron and I have that connection.
Right.
But eventually, that if you say, hey, let's do that with Jennifer, because we haven't done that with.
I would love to see Mark Piani do it with jazz musicians in Chicago.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jen Brown do that with people she's helped edit their book with.
Right.
You know, or a magazine with, or authors that she's dealt with. You know, and just go, well, this is my friend. And instead of yes, promote the book, but also, hey, what are you about? Who are you?
Right.
You know.
So. I love it. Well, I love the fact that you asked me to do this. This was awesome and so much fun.
You were on the list in the first 10 minutes we started this.
Really?
Yep.
Aww.
Well, I'm not sure we got it right first before we got to you, because this is important. Cause
yeah, it's been pretty experimental. So very cool. Well, I guess that's pretty much it. Do you have any questions for us?
Yeah.
No, I have a million, but I'm out of time and I can't ask them, which just means that we have to see each other in person soon. This makes me want to
Well, you'll be happy to know that. You'll be happy to know that Cameron is my date for homecoming this year.
I'm planning it. I have to get my tickets. So
you. I have gotten from my wife. I've gotten the word when I went to my 20th 2 years ago.
Yeah.
My wife saw how relaxed and how and how almost fresh-faced, surprisingly fresh-faced I was after coming back. That it's been, or I think it might have been the T100th. That's when I went. And
right, that's right.
She went. She gave sort of the green light to go every year. That's my little break from the family. And you go ahead and don't worry about anything. We'll take care of it. We'll call you if we need you, but it's gone. You go. And so I get to go every year. I go on a Thursday because I can sit in with the band at Cherry Street, the Cherry Street Combo. And then Friday and Saturday and Sunday is homecoming, and then Sunday I leave on the train. I take the train. I don't drive. I leave.
Awesome.
Do everything by train, and that's.
We need to make sure we hook up then. I know when you guys are. Sometimes I get crazy busy during that time, and I don't get to enjoy it as an alum.
I imagine. So, okay. Well, let's not take any more of your time. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And until next time, Megan, it was great talking to you again. And we will, you know, as always, it's Facebook. It's always with a click of a button. Right. We can always talk. So
and our best to Brian, who's sitting next to you.
I will definitely give him your best. They give you your best, Brian.
Okay.
Right back at him is what he does. So,
okay.
There we go.
Bye now.
Bye.